Okay, here we're just working on turning the brainwave stuff, EEG coming off this, into initially our gate, which is conveniently the easy part. But that's what I'm showing you over here on the scope. Um, Basically, the bottom line is the raw EEG, so I guess it's good to see some activity there. And the top one is where I'm turning my eye blinks into gates. So in a second when I shut up, the EEG will stabilize because I won't be yapping. And then you'll see the peaks where I click my eyes, and then the gate recreates. So this is the CV gate, and then between it's the other miscellaneous brain activity. And again, it's good there's some. So just do this. I'm just going to blink. You're seeing a lag because it's a trace, but I can do a bunch of rapid fire ones. Using pretty good. It tracks pretty reasonable. All right, in this next set of experiments, I'm just gonna basically keep the first track on the gate. So that's going to be the one constant that we always use to play the notes. And then I'm just going to cycle through the different brain waves I can measure. It goes delta, theta, then I think the alphas, and the gammas, I think, is the order. I can't talk while I'm doing it because it goes nuts. And the one other thing I thought that was interesting was even just laying here, you can just see that there's so much noise and everything. You can see all the signals they pick up just kind of inadvertently. So it just kind of gives an idea of the sensitivity of things and kind of the small scale of things we're measuring. So just noise in the air and noise in the general environment get picked up pretty readily. So anyway, the whole point of this experiment is to see how much I can maintain a gated signal with the blinking. And then I'm just curious what kind of overall voltage fluctuations the other ones will give us. I'm not anticipating hardly any controllability. Okay, the first one I'm going to do here is the delta waves. And in a second when I shut up. And the way I'm going to try to do the experiment is as we come across the screen, somewhere around here, I'm going to try my best to play a single gate. And then someplace out here I'm going to try to do two, so it should look like 1 and 2. And I'll miss some and there'll be some extras, but that's what I'm going to try with the gate. And then down here, as I go through the different waves, we're going to just see what kind of overall readings. One other quick note, these are all step functions right now. I can actually smooth the waves, which we probably would later when we're actually using them for music, but for the point of these experiments, I actually want to see the stepped voltages. So that's what we're going to see. So I'm going to shut up, and these are delta waves. I should have also mentioned I'm trying my best to either think of nothing, something good, or something bad, but that's surprisingly hard to do. So anyways, I'm going to call that the initial take on delta waves. These are theta waves. Okay, these are low alpha waves. Okay, these are high alpha waves. started, this is the original EEG, and really remember this is the only thing, this is basically what the transducer is picking up, and all the other waves we just went through are derived from this, primarily based on frequency spectrums. The premise being each type of brainwave lives in a certain frequency spectrum. So the overall wave and the gates are definitely very usable, and I'm going to analyze the brain waves and see what all we can do with the other ones. I know we can use them for things like filters and sweeps and timbres and maybe some volumes and maybe some other controller type stuff, and that's really mostly their intended usage. I'm not so sure how much pitch control we'll be able to do with them, but I'm going to look into that. So the gist of a wrap up on the initial brainwave experiments, using the NeuroSky controller, and in this case here happens to be my current instrument, which is really just one piece. So made by Sound Machines, fellow in Italy, I believe, and works pretty good. And the main thing I got out of those was that the eye blank or general muscular thing for the trigger, the sensor for the trigger, is working pretty good. I think one other takeaway is that other than the trigger signal, I think the rest are just going to be general purpose for like filter sweeps and maybe volume envelopes and some other things to a certain point, volume swells really. But right now I'm not thinking that instrument's going to necessarily do pitch control, pitch generation. So probably if somebody's using the brainwave one, they'll do certain things with it, but then other things they'll be using breath controllers or so on. But we'll see where that goes. So actually, despite how that might have sounded, I'm actually fairly pleased with the initial take on the brainwave controller. It works better than I probably even thought it would as far as repeatability, but I don't see it having pitch control probably. So the other thing is with the brainwave one, you're probably going to have a lot of augmented stuff where you're doing like sequencers and chord generators and that kind of stuff. So you'll still be able to do a lot with the instrument. I just don't think it's going to be necessarily through a flurry of notes. So that's where we're kind of at with the brainwave.